Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be consulting my notebook. I'm planning on doing a speed review where I catch up on a bunch of small things that I have bought in the past, honestly, year because I'm super far behind. I will try and use these on my face at the same time. So I'm going to be doing several of these videos where each time I apply different products on my face because most of these I have, and if I don't have them, well, I'll mention them and I'll mention very quickly why I don't. It's not really gonna be in order of like the oldest products first. It'll be whatever I feel like reviewing at the time. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is going to be, I never actually ended up giving a formal review. Like I said, I'm so far behind. I never gave a formal review of the MAC Studio Radiance primer. I really like this, and it has been staying with me and I have used it a lot. However, it's still not the same as my Dominique Cosmetics primer. It is more blurring, so it is like a hydrating and blurring primer, and it does, I find, make my makeup last really well. So as far as a primer goes, this is one primer that really does it all, which is no surprise coming from MAC. I think this is an absolutely rock solid product that I really don't think very many people would dislike, but it's still not as hydrating and as dewy and illuminating as my Dominique Cosmetics primer. I thought maybe it would be somewhat similar. It is a thicker, stickier formula. It doesn't like become watery as you massage it in, which is something that's so unique about the Dominique Cosmetics one, but I still do really like it. And unlike the Dominique Cosmetics one, it is permanent as far as I'm concerned. You can buy it on Ulta or from MAC. I have had this and I've been using it consistently ever since I got it. Definitely a mainstay in my primer collection right now, which my primer collection has been pared down significantly. I don't really have many primers in my collection anymore because I just want to stick with the ones I like. So as you can tell, that one stuck around for a very good reason. So next I want to talk about the Valentino foundation. As you can see, I have used it I've already used, you know, a little bit of this. I'd say I've used maybe like 15% of the bottle. I have it in the shade LIGR1. Now, if you are paler than me, then you're gonna probably have a difficult time finding a matching shade. They claim that this shade has rosier undertones, but to me, it feels way more neutral. Now, this foundation, I got it 20% off after trying a sample packet, and it looked really good when I tried the sample packet. I don't think I personally would pay full price for this, and I don't think if I were to use it up, I would repurchase it because initially I really liked it, but I find if I don't prep my skin right, it doesn't really look the greatest. If I do prepare my skin right, like for example, I hydrate it and I use a blurring primer, so basically if I use the MAC primer and I apply it on top of that and my skin is well prepped, then it does look really smoothing, but I think I can credit the primer more than the foundation. It does have pretty high medium coverage, and for having a natural finish or almost a semi-matte finish, it is really not drying at all. So it is quite dry skin friendly, but I just don't find it to be super remarkable in terms of finish. I don't know, I don't really think it's particularly like unique, and I feel like for the price, it should be more unique. Like the Luminous Silk foundation is really unique to me, so I think that one is worth the price, but I just don't really necessarily find this one to stand out. As you can see, I used the MAC primer today because I knew that that's what this foundation looks really good on top of, and you can see it does make my skin look really good, but I'll be honest, as I said, I think that just goes to show how good the primer is. So I'll zoom you guys in really quick so you can see here a close-up of my skin. And you can see that it does have the potential to look really nice, but I've had some days where if I don't use the right primer, it just doesn't look the greatest. Like my pores will be kind of not covered up. Now it does wear really well. The long wear of this foundation is really great. So in that regard, for wear time, it is quite nice. But I feel like with the right combinations of powder and stuff like that, me and my dry skin, I can make most foundations last a pretty good long while. I don't necessarily think it's worth the full price, you know what I mean? Now, a foundation that I'm going to briefly talk about that I returned literally within a week. I tried so many times to make it work, and it is the LANCOME Teint Idole Glowy Foundation. Now, I do really like the original Teint Idole foundation. I do actually still have it in my collection. It is quite reliable. And I will say, when I first saw the reveal for the glowy foundation, I totally thought it would be my foundation. Like, I was so excited. I went to the store and I asked them to find my shade from the back room. Like, I was so excited. I was gonna buy it. I was willing to pay full price. I thought it would be my foundation. No, it sucked. First off, the shade I got was one of the lightest shades and it was straight orange on me, way too tan. No, terrible shade match. It revealed all the texture on my face, it revealed all the pores on my skin, and every time I put it on my face, in terms of coverage, it would disappear. It would look like I had nothing on my face and it covered up nothing while at the same time leaving my pores completely emphasized. Powder didn't do anything. I tried every single primer under the sun that I had. I even tried Professional. I have all 3 Professionals. I tried all 3. It looked terrible, and besides that, it was a terrible shade match. I returned it so quickly, and I almost never return products to Sephora. I only return products to Sephora if I remember to exchange for a different shade, which I frequently forget, as you guys know, or if the product's broken, I'll get an exchange. But in the case of this, I returned it. I couldn't deal with it. It was so bad, and I've never had foundation look that bad on me, and it really boggled my mind that it would look so bad on me when other people really like it. I don't know what about my skin it didn't like, but that was probably the biggest makeup disappointment of like my entire life. And I'm glad I was at least able to return it because, oh my gosh, that was so disappointing. I was so heartbroken. That foundation looked terrible, so that's gonna be a no from me. Okay, next I'm going to talk about the Shiseido Synchro Skin Gel Stick Concealer. Now, I'm not sure if Shiseido is discontinuing their makeup or not. It feels like they are, but then they're not, like it's still in stock. I have no idea what's going on with Shiseido, but I did get the Gel Stick Concealer. Now, first off, I think I got the wrong shade. I got 101. When I swatched it in store, I feel like 102 might have been slightly better. 101's not too bad, but anyways, I think this is okay. And again, I got this on discount. I got this for like 25% off plus cashback, so that was nice. But here's what it looks like. So I'm gonna put this under my eyes. I should have read the fine print before I got this, and I totally do this to myself all the time. I especially with Shiseido's makeup, I just always feel like, oh, it's infallible, it's totally gonna look so good on me, I'm just gonna go ahead and buy it. If you look on the description of the product on the sites that sell Shiseido makeup, you will see they literally say it is medium buildable coverage. I shouldn't have bought it because it's not full coverage. Like, what was I thinking? So as you can imagine, it's not full coverage. And when I'm looking for concealers, especially my, affinity for stick concealers and cream concealers, I want it to be full coverage. That's why I don't use liquid concealers hardly ever. So I should have read closer, but I have been lusting over this stick concealer from Shiseido for over a year, so I finally jumped on it, and somehow I went the whole year without ever reading the fine print. I mean, sometimes you just have your moments, I guess. I think it's fine. It's not drying. It does blend out very easily with a finger or with a brush, whichever one you want. And it doesn't look dry or cakey, and it does wear really well, but it's not full coverage, so I have a hard time ever really justifying using it. I do at this point I have done a lot of science experiments with concealers this year. I would only really use this on days when I don't have other makeup and I just want to kind of make myself look a little more awake. But yeah, as you can see, it's not quite full coverage, but it does blend out really well. It's not drying, and it does wear really, really well with powder. It doesn't look dry if I put powder on top of it, so it is a solid product. It's just not the coverage I want. So this is purely a personal preference thing. If you're not into full coverage concealers and you have more, say, fine lines or mature skin or dry skin, and you want a concealer with coverage that looks natural and you don't use liquid concealers, then I think this concealer would be a great option for you, especially because it's like almost half the price of the Tom Ford one, and I think it is comparable to that one. This cream bronzer is the reason I don't use the Charlotte Tilbury contour wand as much as I used to. This single-handedly kind of dethroned that. The contour wand is nice, but honestly, I need to pull those sponges off. I hate the applicators so much. I love that I take my brush and it's so much simpler. It does have a very dry consistency, so I feel like this product is going to last a really long time before it dries out, which is a good thing too because you get a monstrous amount of product in here. And as you can see, it pretty much is almost an exact shade match of my neck while also having cool undertones that let me bronzes and contours my face. Because like, I don't understand why people use both bronzer and contour on the face at the same time. I guess I don't know how to do that. Personally, it's like I either have a bronzer or a contour on. It's one or the other, and 9 times out of 10 I'm going for a contour, and this just rides the line right between the two such that it almost achieves both. It both warms up my face and it contours my face. So the first release of this was limited edition, and I think it only had 1 or 2 shades, and the shades that they did have were like it would be way too warm and orange for me, so I didn't bother. It sold out. There was a lot of demand. A lot of people were really upset that it was limited edition, so NARS did bring it back and they expanded the shade range. So this is Laguna 01. And as you can see, it is definitely just totally a me shade. I love using this. Don't foresee myself ever parting ways with this. This to me also essentially is like a superior Huda Beauty Tantour, which I used to use a lot back in the day, but I eventually did sell and part ways with that one. This one is just superior in every way. It is my favorite cream contour bronzer product in my collection right now, period. I use this over all of them pretty much all the time. Only thing I don't like about it is the weird coconut beachy smell. I know that the whole Laguna thing and whatnot makes sense, and a lot of people actually really like the smell. I'm not a big beach person. I honestly don't like beaches like at all, and so I find the smell to be annoying, but it doesn't really linger and I just tolerate it. So that's the only thing I don't like about it, is the smell, but I'll put up with it because it really is truly such a good product. Okay, so I'm going to do my eyebrows and my eye primer, and then I'm going to move on to some single shadows that I want to talk about. I do want to spotlight this really quick actually. I'll just go ahead and throw this in. I'm going to use, this is a brow pencil I finally got my hands on. This is an ESPOIR and Minsco collaboration. Now, as you guys might know, or you may not, Minsco is one of my favorite makeup channels of all time. So she collabed with ESPOIR to create a series of brow pencils, and it's called the Brow Balance. Now, first of all, the packaging is so cool. It's like a twisted rectangle. So it's not going to roll around on your desk, and it's actually quite easy and balanced to hold. The tip is like a really fine triangle shape, but honestly it doesn't really matter. It's so precise and it's so stiff, and it's like it's pigmented, but at the same time it's really stiff, so you can draw some crazy fine lines with this. So you see how fine I can draw these lines, and I can really just create the appearance of such a fluffy and soft brow. And then I just flip to the other side to start filling it in. And of course, as usual, I do like to kind of straighten my brow out a little bit. And then if you want to like really draw some really dark strokes, you just push harder. It really truly feels like I'm using like an actual drawing art pencil. Like I feel like I can actually like use it with different pressure to create different pigmentations. It's just, yeah, this is so good. Like it has like this hand-drawn, like kind of artistic graphite pencil quality to it that I really like. Okay, so my eye primer has had some time to settle, so I would like to talk about the Shiseido single shadows. And you can see here, the black ones are all of my Shiseido singles. It's really cute. I'm not going to be able to obviously use all of them in the video, but I'll use what I can. So again, like I said, I don't know if they're discontinuing their makeup or not, but that's what the shadows look like. They come in a variety of finishes. Some of them are matte, some of them are more satin, and some of them are more shimmery. And they do actually have a wide variety of shades. Like they have like they have gold, they have silver, they have pink, and then they also have like some blues. So I think what I'm going to do is I want to do a look using the teal shade today. So I'm going to go in first with a neutral color. I'm going to use this shade right here, which is called Sube-Sube Beige. It's 04. This is a matte. And the packaging is just so cute and sleek too. It's kind of a shame that it seems like they're like not, their makeup is like not doing well or something. I don't know what's going on. So I'm just going to apply this kind of to the tops of my eyelids, and this is going to be the shade that the teal blends into. These shadows are not powdery at all. They definitely feel kind of like a cream powder or gel powder hybrid, but they definitely aren't like cream either. So now I'm going to go in with the teal shade. It's called Zawa-Zawa Green 16. I don't have all the shades because they're pretty expensive each. I wish I had all the shades though. I probably shouldn't have used such a big brush for this shade. Oops. Yeah, you can see it's really pretty. I'm gonna switch to a smaller brush. I don't know what I was thinking. I'll go back into that beige shade later to kind of tidy up the blend, don't worry. I'm just gonna get this laid down first. Yeah, I find these to be really easy to work with because I don't really get fallout. It's not gonna be like the sparkliest shadow or the most foiled shadow ever, but you can definitely use your finger. You know, it's just high-end single shadows can be really difficult to justify because they can be really expensive, but I do legitimately think these are really cute. So I am glad I have them. Should they be discontinued, I'll be glad to have them. So I'm just gonna start with that for now. I think I need to bring the left eye higher though because I overdid it on the other eye. I'm gonna go back into that beige. I'm just kind of making it a little bit more blendy. It is turning a little bit muddy where the colors meet, but that's okay. So that's what that looks like now. I think the blend is a lot more even, and I'll put an inner corner highlight here so you can ignore the choppy blend there. So now I'm going to go into a darker shade to get some depth going. So I'm going to go into Suru-Suru Taupe. It's taupe. I think you can imagine why I would go for this. And I just kind of carefully wiped off this brush. I'm going to use the same brush. And this shade is technically also a metallic finish shade, but I'm just going to use it at the end of my eye for depth. And then I'll just take the extra. And you can see how on the lower lash line, as I blend it out, the taupe base is really coming through. So there's not very much shimmer, but you can still see the taupe. And you can see that that was pretty easy and quick for me to create. I'm trying to make it symmetrical. Okay, so I am going to go ahead now and use my finger to just add more of that teal. And it picks up really well on a finger, so I'm just going to use this to add, just really amp up the pigment. And I'm staying within the bounds I created. Like, I don't want to put this teal all over the place. And you can see with the finger, it just kind of melts the shadow into the eyelid almost. These are definitely, like, they look the best with a finger, but they are pretty versatile, so. It's not like the most foiled ever, this teal. That silver and the gold are definitely way more metallic, but I feel like it just looks so smooth and lovely, and so I'm not getting fallout and I'm not getting patchiness. So I didn't use all the shades, but honestly, like, they're all super consistent, so I really do appreciate them. I don't really think they're all in stock anymore. So to finish off this eye look, the next thing that I do want to talk about in terms of singles are going to be the Bobbi Brown Luxe singles. Now, there was a sale a while back where they were like 40% off, so this is a long time ago, so I got a couple shades. And then when Sun Flare, I think was what it was called, came back in stock, I freaked out and got that one because I've been lusting after that one for 2 years now. So I'm very happy I have Sun Flare. I'm not going to use it today though because it's so orange. I'm going to use 2 shades today that I think really show off the 2 main finishes that are in this range. So the first one is going to be Moonstone, and as you can see, it is the baked formula. This is the ultimate epitome of sparkly topper. These are so gorgeous. And then the second formula is a little bit more smooth and a little bit more like kind of shimmery, and it's this right here, and it's with standard powder shadow. These shadows are both extremely beautiful. They are so nice, but they're very expensive, and they've only become more expensive. I think they're like $40 or above $40 now, so definitely wait. Bobbi Brown run on the website has sales all the time, so you can get these for at least 25 to 30% off if you just wait and be patient, especially if you combine it with a really good Rakuten day and you can get some cash back. Yeah, I'm going to use Moonstone, and I'm also going to use Opalescent. I'll show these 2 shades to you guys. I'll just use a brush to apply Opalescent so that I can get a more kind of like sparkly and sheer application. So as you can see, it's got such an interesting texture to it. So I'm going to apply this as like a sparkly topper, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Do you see how it just adds, that's the sparkle from that shade. It is so pretty. It just adds that extra bit of glitz. It's so pretty. I like it so much. So, and then I'm also going to put this on my lower lash line to highlight this area. And it does pick up the best with a finger or with some kind of like applicator, but you can use a brush for it. And with shades like this, I kind of like to let it look like it's kind of falling down below my eyes. If you want to like not spend as much money and get something that's similar, then Fractal Freesia from Phytosurgeons is kind of sort of similar. And here's what it looks like on my finger. You see how it's just that glistening, glittery wet. It has very little base pigment. If you just wanted one sparkly topper in your collection that you can use to add a sparkly effect to any shadow in your collection, then Bobbi Brown, sorry, this is Moonstone. Moonstone is the baked one and Opalescent is the smooth one. I'm so sorry, I got them mixed up. Then Moonstone is going to be the shade that you can get, and then you literally have a way to make any shadow suddenly become sparkly. And so now I'm going to use Opalescent, which is the smoother powder one. I'll show you guys what that looks like on my inner corner. This one is a bit more champagne with a slight kind of bronzy or coppery warm undertone to it. So it's not a super bright champagne. As you can see, it's a lot more smooth. So this one I would say is a little bit less unique, so maybe potentially less worth the price. But again, if you were to get this 30 or 40% off, I would personally consider it worth it. That's what I got it at, and I don't regret it at all. And that's gonna be this eye look. As you can see, so simple with just a pop of color, using these honestly high-end single shadows, which, you know, I really do want to give my singles more love this year. So I'm gonna do my lashes off camera and then I'll be back because I'm gonna put on some false lashes. So I have House of Lashes Love and Light on. I just wanted to wear something extra short today. Moving on, I do really want to try, and I'm trying to decide which blush. The blush that I really want to talk about today is going to be these Givenchy Prisme Libre Loose blushes. Now these like never came to the US. At the time when I was on Feel Unique, they had like a 35% off sale, so I got 3 shades. My package got lost. It's really saddening to think about that. So they refunded my money, but by the time I got back on, they were sold out on Feel Unique. Now, I did leave a comment under one of Lexi's videos just bemoaning the fact that they'd sold out there after my package got lost, and she did say that they're technically not limited edition. They are permanent in the EU, so they will come back. It just might be a while. But by that time, I had found 2 of the shades on Harrods. I bought that, and with that plus the shipping, it ended up costing as much as 3 blushes on sale from Feel Unique did. So a bit of an L moment for me, but I am glad that I have them, and I am kind of sort of stalking Feel Unique for if that really bright pastel pink shade ever comes back. But in the meantime, I have shade 2 and I have shade 3. So I'm gonna use shade 2 today, Taffetas Rose. These are amazing. So they are going to be different from the Jacqueline Loose blushes, which I have also said before that I really like. These are not the same as those for sure. They're different. They're more matte for one. They don't really have that pearl or glitter that the Jacqueline ones do, but they are so soft. Like, you would think that because it's loose that it'll be kind of, I put way too much on the cap, but here's what it looks like. Now, you can't really use the quadrants as individual shades. I mean, I guess you could, but like I don't, that would be kind of difficult. So I'm gonna use this stippling brush from Spectrum, which is my favorite way to apply these. These are just so, they're a lot easier to apply than you think, and they're a lot less pigmented than you think. So you just kind of, like, it looks like it's a lot on the brush, but as you slowly press it onto your cheek, it actually diffuses and disperses really easily. And it is matte, but at the same time, it still has this natural glow to it. And it's something about it, it also almost feels like it kind of blurs and smooths the skin as well. So it definitely gives me Korean blush vibes for sure, but it's just so soft. It's so blendable. It doesn't really have a scent at all. Like, I can smell it if I put my nose right up to it, and you can just really, like, you can really build it. Like, I'm building it up because I do like my blush to be heavier. And I just feel like it's so easy to use. Like, it is way easier to use than you would think. And I'm just using like a synthetic brush right now. I got this Spectrum and Pusheen set because I really like Pusheen, and I do really like my other Spectrum set that I got, but I feel like this is not as soft as my other Spectrum brushes. Do you see though? It's not drying on my skin at all. It is just so pretty. Now, it definitely will not stick super good to your skin if you've already set it down and mattified it to the heavens. So I prefer to use this on skin that's been not set or is lightly set. And this blush almost sets my base at the same time as the pigment goes down. Like, I put down a giant dollop and I'm just gonna gently tap it out and it just blends out. And it's so easy. Feel Unique does have free shipping, so that is probably the easiest place to get it from, but I'm so paranoid to order from Feel Unique because of the fact that they lost my package the first and only time I ordered from them. I know it's not like it happens often, but it just was so, that I was so sad. I'm gonna take a tiny bit of setting spray and just kind of dampen my cheeks a little bit, because otherwise highlighter is not going to want to stick to this face. So I'm just going to use a little teeny bit. So I'm going to talk about the Hollywood Glow Glide Face Architect Highlighter in Moonlit Glow from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the one where if you touch it wrong, the pan spins around. Like, wee. But that's what it looks like on the finger. I only got this because I got the matte blushes off ASOS because they were 20% off and $4 cheaper. So I got that. And then I just tossed this in as well because it also was 20% off. So I threw that in. And personally, if I use a brush with this, I am extremely disappointed. But if I use my finger, then it actually looks way better and becomes really pretty. So this for me is definitely a finger highlighter. I find it kind of reminds me of like a smoother and softer version of the Flower Nose Revelation, I guess is the closest I could say. I will say compared to the Rare Beauty one, it's kind of similar to the Rare Beauty one in that if I put on too much or if I'm not careful with my application, I can totally see this turning ashy on me. So if you're super pale or if you have cool undertones, then I think you're gonna really like Moonlit Glow. I'm probably not gonna get any more shades in this unless I just, for some reason, like if I blew up on YouTube tomorrow and was rolling in YouTube dough, I would get more shades of this, but I'm probably not going to get more shades of this for the foreseeable future just because this is so expensive. I do think it's really pretty, as you can see, and it's actually quite soft while still maintaining intensity, but it diffuses and blends really well, so it doesn't look like a stripe, where I feel like this is really easy to fall into the highlighter stripe syndrome. It's very difficult to do that with this. This just naturally and seamlessly blends onto the skin really easily, and it looks really pretty. Personally, I find it doesn't really emphasize my texture. Like, it is going over some bumps on my skin, but it's not really emphasizing them, so I think this one is going to be more flattering. But with that all being said, I would definitely expect it to be good because it is like way more expensive than this one. So personally, I do really enjoy this. Itchy nose. I do really enjoy this, and I do find it really flattering, but the undertone of this, it's borderline too pale for me to use on my cheeks, which is totally such an uncommon issue for me to have because usually it's the other way around. I do really like it on my nose though, so definitely a really favorite nose highlighter for me. Like, I'm like towing the line right now. This is a dangerous line to toe. If I have an orange blush on, I cannot use this highlighter. If I had known about that, I might not have gotten this shade. Because, like, it looks and it swatches quite warm and champagne. So when I swatched it in store, I was like, oh, this is really pretty. But then I put it on top of blush, specifically. I put it on top of blush and I'm like, doesn't look the same. A $48 highlighter in this economy. I didn't even pay full price for this. I wouldn't have paid full price for this. I only got this because it was 20% off with, I think I got like, it was like 5 or 8% cash back on top of that, so. I'll feature these because I don't think I've actually, I got new shades while I was at the Hawaii airport because these are actually, I think, being discontinued. The Shiseido VisionAiry gel lipsticks, I've had the shade Ginza Red for a really long time, and it's a really favorite shade of mine, but they're kind of sort of being discontinued. So when I was at the Honolulu airport waiting to go and fly back to DFW, I stopped by the beauty shop there, and they had a couple of shades left of these, and they were like under $20 each, and there wasn't a sale going on. They were just priced lower. So I got some of the shades that I wanted to get. So I'm gonna use the shade Coral Pop, maybe? I think that one's gonna be a little too warm. These are really pigmented, and they are kind of soft, so you do have to be a little careful with application, or else you might kind of bend them a little bit. I'm gonna use High Rise. I think High Rise will be better. But yeah, these are so pigmented. I don't even really swipe it on, I tap it on. And the applicator is super tiny, so you can see that little bit I was able to spread out across my lips. And then I'll just apply a second layer on the inside of my lips. Yeah, I don't know if these are available anymore, I'll be honest, and I did get these BK Beauty brushes off of the Makeup Exchange subreddit. Just washed them. I washed them like 2 weeks ago. I washed them a couple times. If I ever buy lightly used brushes secondhand, even if they say that they've been washed, obviously I do go back and I wash them again and I'll sanitize them. And so I washed these. I washed them about like 3 times and then I sanitized them just for good measure. I've been really interested in trying BK brushes, but I don't necessarily have the coin to be buying BK brushes. I know there's a sale, so I was hoping to try them before the Black Friday sale this year so that I can get them if I like them. I thought it was like just a bunch of hype, especially because, like, you know, a lot of people get BK Beauty and PR, but now I want BK Beauty and PR because these are really good. Does anyone else sometimes just kind of stick the brush through the holes instead of pouring it to the lid? You just kind of stick it through the holes and hope that you get some? Okay, my left eyelash is running away from me, so I'm going to quickly take down my hair and wrap up this video. I think I'm gonna call this the look. My hair got kind of long, which I like, but I don't know how to style it. It's a lot of wasted potential. I'm well aware of this fact, but here is going to be my finished look, speed reviewing a couple of products. Obviously I like most of what I have on my face because if I don't like it, I don't have it anymore. So I hope that this little speed review was handy for you guys. I will continue to make speed reviews. My speed review queue is like my anime list plan to watch list long right now because I just haven't made the video in I'm over a year overdue, so I just have a lot of products on that list that I need to talk about. But if anything, it's a good thing, right? Because it means I've had a really long time to use all these products, so you can definitely know that my opinion is fairly solidified on all of these. So I hope this video helped you. There's more coming. I will title them all speed reviews. Obviously, I'm not the first person to come up with that title. Like speed reviews, bite-sized reviews, so many YouTubers do these. I really love to watch them because they're such a great way to hear about a lot of products in a short amount of time. So if you're like me and you get bored easily of people rambling, which that's ironic coming from me, then I hope you enjoyed this video. So yeah, and it's great for me because I can kind of just do a get ready with me, do one look and upload it. That'll be it from me. I hope you enjoyed watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!